Berekuet Adonai Amvarak, Barak Adonai Amavarak Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech Haolam Asher Bakar Banu Mikol, Amin Vinatan Lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Bless Adonai, who is to be blessed. Blessed is Adonai, who is to be blessed forever and ever. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who chose us from all the peoples and gave to us his Torah. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of Torah. Moses then convoked the whole Israelite community and said to them, "These are the things that Adonai has commanded you to do. On 6 days work may be done, but on the 7th day you shall have a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to Adonai. Whoever does any work on it shall be put to death. You shall kindle no fire throughout your settlements on the Sabbath day." Moses said further to the whole community of Israelites, "This is what Adonai has commanded. Take from among you gifts to Adonai. Everyone whose heart is so moved shall bring them gifts for Adonai, gold, silver, and copper, blue, purple, and crimson yarns, fine linen and goat's hair, tanned ram skins, dolphin skins, and acacia wood, oil for lighting, spices for the anointing oil, and for the aromatic incense, lapis lazuli, and other stones for setting, for the ephod and the breastplate. And let all among you who are skilled come and make all that Adonai has commanded: the tabernacle, its tent and its covering, its clasps and its planks, its bars, its posts and its sockets, the ark and its poles, the cover and the curtain for the screen, the table and its pole, and all its utensils, and the bread of display, the lampstand for lighting, its furnishings and its lamps, and the oil for lighting, the altar of incense and its poles, the anointing oil and the aromatic incense, and the entrance screen for the entrance of the tabernacle, the altar of burnt offering, its copper grating, its poles and all its furnishings, the laver and its stand, the hangings of the enclosure, its posts and its sockets, and the screen for the gate of the court, the pegs for the tabernacle, the pegs for the enclosure and their cords, the service vestments for officiating in the sanctuary, the sacral vestments of Aaron the priest, and the vestments of his sons for priestly service. So the whole community of the Israelites left Moses' presence. And everyone who excelled in ability and everyone whose spirit was moved came, bringing to Adonai an offering for the work of the tent of meeting, and for all its service, and for the sacral vestments. Men and women, all whose hearts moved them, all who would make an elevation offering of gold to Adonai, came, bringing brooches, earrings, rings, and pendants, gold objects of all kinds. And everyone who possessed blue, purple, and crimson yarns, fine linen, goat's hair, tanned ram skins, and dolphin skins brought them. Everyone who would make gifts of silver or copper brought them as gifts for Adonai. And everyone who possessed acacia wood for any work of the service brought that. And all the skilled women spun with their own hands, and brought what they had spun in blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and in fine linen. And all the women who excel in that skill spun the goat's hair. And the chieftains brought lapis lazuli and other stones for setting for the ephod and for the breastplate, and spices and oil for lighting, for the anointing oil, and for the aromatic incense. Thus the Israelites, all the men and women whose hearts moved them to bring anything for the work that Adonai, through Moses, had commanded to be done, brought it as a freewill offering to Adonai. And Moses said to the Israelites, "See, Adonai has singled out by name Bezalel, son of Uri, son of of the tribe of Judah, endowing him with a divine spirit of skill, ability, and knowledge in every kind of craft, and inspiring him to make designs for work in gold, silver, and copper, to cut stones for setting and to carve wood, to work in every kind of designer's craft, and to give directions, he and Oholiab, son of Ahishamach, of the tribe of Dan, have been endowed with the skill to do any work of the carver, the designer, the embroiderer, in blue, purple, crimson yarns, and in fine linen, and of the weaver as workers in all crafts and as makers of designs. Let then Bezalel and Oholiab and all the skilled persons whom Adonai has endowed with skill and ability to perform expertly all the tasks connected with the service of the sanctuary carry out all that Adonai has commanded. Moses then called Bezalel and Oholiab and every skilled person whom Adonai had endowed with skill, everyone who excelled in ability, to undertake the task and carry it out. They took over from Moses all the gifts that the Israelites had brought to carry out the task connected with the service of the sanctuary. But when they continued to bring freewill offering to him morning after morning, all the artisans who were engaged in the task of the sanctuary came from the task upon which one was engaged, and said to Moses, "The people are bringing more than is needed for the task entailed in the work that Adonai has commanded to be done." Moses thereupon had this proclamation made throughout the camp: "Let no man or woman make further effort toward gifts for the sanctuary." So the people stopped bringing. Their efforts had been more than enough for all the tasks to be done. Then all the skilled among those engaged in the work made the tabernacle of 10 strips of cloth, which they made of fine twisted linen, blue, purple, and crimson yarns. Into these they worked a design of cherubim. The length of each cloth was 28 cubits, and the width of each cloth was 4 cubits, all cloths having the same measurements. They joined 5 of the cloths to one another, and they joined the other 5 cloths to one another. They made loops of blue wool on the edge of the outermost cloth of the one set, and did the same on the edge of the outermost cloth of the other set. They made 50 loops on the one cloth, and they made 50 loops on the edge of the end cloth of the other set, the loops being opposite one another. And they made 50 gold clasps, and coupled the units to one another with the clasp, so that the tabernacle became one whole. They made cloths of goat's hair for a tent over the tabernacle. They made the cloths 11 in number. The length of each cloth was 30 cubits, and the width of each cloth was 4 cubits, the 11 cloths having the same measurements. They joined 5 of the cloths by themselves, and the other 6 cloths by themselves. They made 50 loops on the edge of the outermost cloth of the one set, and they made 50 loops on the edge of the end cloth of the other set. They made 50 copper clasps to couple the tent together so that it might become one whole. And they made a covering of tanned ram skins for the tent, and a covering of dolphin skins above. They made the planks for the tabernacle of acacia wood upright. The length of each plank was 10 cubits, the width of each plank a cubit and a half. Each plank had 2 tenons parallel to each other. They did the same with all the planks of the tabernacle. Of the planks of the tabernacle, they made 20 planks for the south side, making 40 silver sockets under the 20 planks, 2 sockets under one plank for its 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under each following planks for its 2 tenons. And for the other side wall of the tabernacle, the north side, 20 planks, with their 40 silver sockets, 2 sockets under one plank, and 2 sockets under each following plank. And for the rear of the tabernacle to the west, they made 6 planks, and they made 2 planks for the corners of the tabernacle at the rear. They matched at the bottom, but terminated as one at the top into one ring. They did so with both of them at the two corners. Thus there were 8 planks with their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 under each plank. They made bars of acacia wood, 5 for the planks of the one side wall of the tabernacle, 5 bars for the planks of the other side wall of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the planks of the wall of the tabernacle at the rear to the west. They made the center bar to run halfway up the planks from end to end. They overlaid the planks with gold and made their rings of gold as old as for the bars, and they overlaid the bars with gold. They made the curtain of blue, purple, and crimson yarns and fine twisted linen, working into it a design of cherubim. They made it for it 4 posts of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold, with their hooks of gold, and they cast for them 4 silver sockets. They made the screen for the entrance of the tent of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and fine twisted linen done in embroidery, and 5 posts for it with their hooks. They overlaid their tops and their bands with gold, but the 5 sockets were of copper. Bezalel made the ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. He overlaid it with pure gold inside and out, and he made a gold molding for it round about. He cast 4 gold rings for its 4 feet, 2 rings on one of its side walls and 2 rings on the other. He made poles of acacia wood, overlaid them with gold, and inserted the poles into the rings on the side walls of the ark for carrying the ark. He made a cover of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide. He made 2 cherubim of gold. He made them of hammered work at the 2 ends of the cover, 1 cherub at one end and the other cherub at the other end. He made the cherubim of one piece with the cover at its 2 ends. The cherubim had their wings spread out above, shielding the cover with their wings. They faced each other. The faces of the cherubim were turned towards the cover. He made the table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, 1 cubit wide, and 1.5 cubits high. He overlaid it with pure gold and made a gold molding around it. He made a rim of a hand's breadth around it and made a gold molding for its rim round about. He cast 4 gold rings for it and attached the rings to the 4 corners at its 4 legs. The rings were next to the rim, as old as for the poles to carry the table. He made the poles of acacia wood for carrying the table and overlaid them with gold. The utensils that were to be upon the table, its bowls, ladles, jugs, and jars with which to offer libations, he made of pure gold. He made the lampstand of pure gold. He made the lampstand, its base, and its shaft of hammered work. Its cups, calyxes, and petals were of one piece with it. 6 branches issued from its side, 3 branches from one side of the lampstand, and the 3 branches from the other side of the lampstand. There were 3 cups shaped like almond blossoms, each with calyx and petals on one branch. And there were 3 cups shaped like almond blossoms, each with calyx and petals on the next branch. So for all 6 branches issuing from the lampstand. On the lampstand itself, there were 4 cups shaped like almond blossoms, each with calyx and petals. A calyx of one piece with it under a pair of branches, and a calyx of one piece with it under the second pair of branches, and a calyx of one piece with it under the last pair of branches, so for all 6 branches issuing from it. Their calyxes and their stems were of one piece with it, the whole of it a single hammered piece of pure gold. He made it 7 lamps, its tongs, and its fire pans of pure gold. He made all its furnishings out of a talent of pure gold. He made the incense altar of acacia wood, a cubit long and a cubit wide, square, and 2 cubits high. Its horns were of one piece with it. He overlaid it with pure gold, its top, its sides round about, and its horns, and he made a gold molding for it round about. He made 2 gold rings for it under its molding, on its 2 walls, on opposite sides, as holders for the poles with which to carry it. He made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. He prepared the sacred anointing oil and the pure aromatic incense expertly blended. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et torato, torat emet, v'chayai olam nata bitochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha-Torah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'devarim aneemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai aboker batorah Moshe avdo Israel amo uninvei aemet va'zedek. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen good prophets and was pleased with their words that were uttered with truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, who chooses the Torah and Moses, God's servant, and Israel, God's people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. King Solomon sent for Hiram and brought him down from Tyre. He was the son of a widow from the tribe of Naphtali, and his father had been a Tyrian, a coppersmith. He was endowed with skill, ability, and talent for executing all work in bronze. He came to King Solomon and executed all his work. He cast 2 columns of bronze. One column was 18 cubits high and measured 12 cubits in circumference, and similarly the other column. He made 2 capitals cast in bronze to be set upon the 2 columns, the height of each of the 2 capitals being 5 cubits. Also nets of meshwork with festoons of chain work for the capitals that were on the top of the columns, 7 for each of the 2 capitals. He made the columns so that there were 2 rows of pomegranates encircling the top of the one network to cover the capitals that were on the top of the pomegranates, and he did the same for the network on the second capital. The capitals upon the columns of the portico were of lily designs, 4 cubits high. So also the capitals upon the 2 columns extended above and next to the bulge that was beside the network. There were 200 pomegranates in rows around the top of the second capital. He set up the columns at the portico of the great hall. He set up 1 column on the right and named it Jachin, and he set up the other column on the left and named it Boaz. Upon the top of the columns there was a lily design. Thus the work of the columns was completed. Then he made the tank of cast metal, 10 cubits across from brim to brim, completely round. It was 5 cubits high, and it measured 30 cubits in circumference. There were gourds below the brim completely encircling it, 10 to a cubit, encircling the tank. The gourds were in 2 rows, cast in one piece with it. It stood upon 12 oxen, 3 facing north, 3 facing west, 3 facing south, and 3 facing east. With the tank resting upon them, their haunches were all turned inward. It was a handbreadth thick, and its brim was made like that of a cup, like the petals of a lily. Its capacity was 2,000 baths. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zer kol haolamim zadik, v'kol adoret ahel ane eman, haomer v'oseh עם דבר חיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישב רחם כי אל מלך נאמן, ורחמם אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, rock of all eternities, righteous in all generations, the faithful God who says and does, who speaks and fulfills, all of whose words are true. Faithful are you, Lord our God, and faithful are your words. Not one of your words turns back unfulfilled, for you, O God, are a faithful and compassionate King. Blessed are you, Lord, the God who is faithful in all his words.